Hey people, it's Nias talking. I've been following this story on and off for the last few months, and now it's really reaching its conclusion with the jury deliberations. So this is about the Laquan Mcdonald murder. So this is CNN. Jury deliberations begin in Chicago officer's trial in the Laquan Mcdonald killing. The high-profile murder trial of Chicago police officer Jason Van Dyke for his actions in the 2014 killing of 17-year-old Laquan Mcdonald is in the hands of a jury. I just want you to think about that. 4 years. 4 years for a murder where they had it on camera. Okay, let's keep going. The city, meanwhile, based for possible demonstrations in a sensational case that already sparked protests. The panel of 8 women and 4 men, 7 of them white, 1 black, 3 Hispanic, and 1 Asian, will be sequestered during deliberations. They begin deliberating Thursday after closing arguments, ending the day without a verdict. Now, I want you to pay attention to that, the racial makeup. The majority of them white, and there's only 1 black person there. What do you call it now? I know that Chicago has at least a third, or at least of its people are black. So it seems odd that that in a trial like this, they would have only 1 black person there. I mean, there should at least be 3 or 4. And like I said, they've tried to fill it with other minorities. I think they knew they couldn't do the Rodney King thing where they move it to an all-white jurisdiction. It's too high profile. So they decided, okay, we'll just try and make it filled with other non-black people. Okay. They began deliberating Thursday after closing arguments and ending the day without a verdict. Before Judge Vincent Gogan dismissed them for the day, jurors requested a transcript of testimony from former Chicago police officer Joseph Walsh, Van Dyke's partner, the night of McDonald's death. Van Dyke faces 2 counts of first-degree murder, 16 counts of aggravated battery, and 1 count of official misconduct for the shooting and killing of the black teenager. The white officer faces up to life in prison if convicted. If he gets convicted, he'll probably get 5 years, maybe 10. And of that, he'll probably serve maybe 50%, a few years. 2 alternate jurors were dismissed Thursday, said they would have convicted him of murder. Of course. Actually, I can understand you have to at least show your objectives, so I think that, although that's hard to imagine, I think they did the right thing. A prosecutor claims Van Dyke showed no regard for the life of the black teenager, while the defense portrayed him as a police veteran ensnared in a tragedy but not a murder. So, Assistant Special Prosecutor Jody Gleason told the jury that Van Dyke contemplated shooting McDonald before he ever encountered the young man on the street. "You heard what it was said. I guess we'll have to shoot him," Gleason said, referring to testimony about what Van Dyke told his partner before arriving at the scene. Exactly, that shows intent. It says that it doesn't even show that. He says, well, if he gets violent, he said, we're just going to have to do it. It wasn't the knife in Laquan's hand that made the defendant kill him that night. It was indifference to the value of Laquan's life. When Van Dyke took the stand Tuesday, Gleason asked about a statement he made to his partner as they approached the shooting scene. "Oh my God, we're going to have to shoot the guy. I thought the officers were under attack," Van Dyke said. Gleason told the jury Thursday, we know the defendant contemplated the decision to shoot McDonald before he even got out of the vehicle, and he never adjusted that mindset. The prosecutor argued that McDonald was not on trial, and nothing in his troubled life could possibly justify Van Dyke's decision to pull the trigger over and over again. 14 times. I want you to remember that. He was shot 14 times. 14. Good God. The defendant knew nothing about him, she said. A police officer cannot use deadly force merely because a person will not bow down to their authority. Yes, that's very true. They've got tasers, they've got their cuffs, they've got their body restraints, and they've got self-defense techniques that they know how to knock someone down and pin them down. Why is it they always have to resort to lethal force when it's a black suspect? Just because Laquan McDonald was ignoring him that night, he did not have the right to use deadly force. Yes, very true. Defense, a tragedy but not a murder case. Defense attorney Daniel Herbert is closing sought to discount a piece of evidence at the center of the case. Video of the shooting. We have to look at this from Jason Van Dyke's perspective. Oh, I love this. I really do. Jason Black covered this. We have to change from my perspective. You don't know what I saw. How can I prove what you saw? Nobody can ever get into your mind. And who knows, even if they did, you could make your own memories of what you did. He added, the state wants to watch the last 2 minutes of this movie without knowing the context. Herbert said there was no question this case is tragic, but it did not amount to murder. It's a tragedy that could have been prevented with one simple step. He said, at any step during that 20-minute rampage, If Laquan McDonald had dropped that knife, he could have been here today. I really hate the way CNN said this. Again, they don't make a mention of the fact, well, they don't emphasize that Laquan McDonald was walking away from him. He had his back to him. He was not trying to charge for him. As Van Dyke goes, he was moving away. There was no threat to him, no imminent threat anyway. Herbert said it was unprecedented for a police officer to face a murder charge for responding to a call and encountering an individual acting in a strange manner. Look, I meet people all the time. What counts as strange? You know? If someone is acting strange, is there a guidebook and that we must all be issued to this, and if we don't do it, we become liable to be murdered? What the hell? First-degree murder. No motive, no malice, no premeditation, he said. You can use your common sense, ladies and gentlemen. You can determine what is a murder. This isn't. Again, I want to say that he shot him 14 times. 14 times. Okay, so let me say this. That sounds like bloodlust. Let's go on this. Okay, let's go with his reasoning. Let's say that even if he wasn't going to hurt him, he was going to hurt somebody else. Let's say that was true. So he could have shot him in the leg, taken him down, stopped him walking away, and then he could have pinned him down with the other officers there and got that knife off of him. They're trained enough, they've got enough equipment and training to do it. Yet he shot him 14 times. That's bloodlust. That is desire and intent to kill. That's what it sounds like. Alright, let's keep going. Jurors were instructed firstly they could also consider a second-degree murder charge. Hell no, man, first degree. Video of the shooting sparked protests at Justice Department, civil rights investigation, and criticism of the city's mayor, and eventually ousted the police superintendent. Van Dyke is the first Chicago police officer to be charged with first-degree murder since 1980. Van Dyke told the jury that McDonald's face was expressionless. His eyes were just bugging out of his head as the teenager kept advancing on him, holding a knife. Bugging. The way they use certain code words. They're totally insane. He got that look in his eye. He was coming for me. I had to do it. Oh, God. Standing about 10 to 15 feet away, McDonald turned his torso towards me, the officer testified. He waved the knife from his lower right side upwards across his body towards my left shoulder, the officer said, appearing to get choked up as he demonstrated the action to jurors. The officer told jurors he then shot McDonald. Again, why is it that these trained officers who have all this weaponry and equipment are terrified that they lose all self-control? I mean, they keep saying the streets are dangerous. Surely they should be like, if they say the streets are as dangerous as they say, they should be just like, yeah, whatever, take him down. I'm not trying to trivialize it, but again, if they keep saying that this violence is so routine, that they should know how to deal with it without having to go completely berserk and lose self-control. But yet, always when it's a black suspect, they completely lose all self-control. It's like Paul Mooney said, don't shoot until you see the color of their skin. Okay, now, what was it? Still, McDonald refused his repeated attempts to drop the knife, even as he lay wounded, Van Dyke said. Van Dyke appeared to be trying to get up after the officer stopped shooting, so Van Dyke reloaded, as he was trained to do, and fired at the knife. What? Again, so according to him, he was now, wounded and trying to get up. Of course he's trying to get up. He's probably trying to get away from this guy shooting him and maybe get to a hospital. And yes, he may have refused those commands. I think after you've been shot several times, I don't think you're paying attention to what people are saying. You're probably just thinking, oh my God, the pain you're in. Can people just be realistic? Like, why are you listening? Why would anyone be listening to what someone is shouting in the distance when you're just in agonizing pain? God, they're just the nonsense that they keep coming out with. I could see him start to push up with his left hand on the ground. I see his left shoulder start to come up. I still see him holding that knife with his right hand, not letting go of it. His eyes are still bugged out. His face has got no expression on it. Okay. So if he's on the ground and he's trying to push himself up, he's got a knife, you've got a gun. Let's just say this. You could have stepped on his hand and stopped him moving. And the other officer could have pinned him down, and you could have just prized it away from him. or something. But again, there was no other option but to shoot at it. Ugh. He told jurors, I just kept on looking at the knife and I shot at it. I just wanted him to get rid of the knife. But the prosecutor pointed out inconsistencies in Van Dyke's depiction of the fatal encounter. The prosecutor said Van Dyke fired unnecessarily within 6 seconds of arriving at the scene, striking McDonald 16 times. Oh, wow. 16 times. Good God. It sounds like Tamir Rice. He just got out and started firing. Dashcam video. And this is the important thing. The shooting was captured on a grainy police dashcam video. Van Dyke said he fired in self-defense after McDonald lunged at him with a knife. For the dashcam video, which a judge ordered the city to release 13 months after the shooting, showed McDonald walking away from the police rather than charging at them. During cross-examination, prosecutor Gleason tried to challenge Van Dyke's assertion that McDonald raised the knife. You sat here for several days and watched several videos. Have you ever seen Laquan McDonald do that on one of those videos? Gleason asked. Van Dyke said the dashcam video and an animated recreation of the shooting presented by the defense didn't show his perspective, but acknowledged he didn't see McDonald raising the knife in the recreation. The video shows McDonald walking towards the fence on his right as Van Dyke's squad cop pulls up, facing the teenager to the youth's left. Anyway, I personally believe that he's going to get off. I mean, they're already talking about in another article that they're preparing for chaos. I think this is a setup, and he's going to get off, and this is just disgusting. There is incredible amount of evidence which would have sent someone to jail easily. I don't want to say this. They keep saying you didn't see more of it, or that you didn't see my perspective. Listen, when people are on drugs or alcohol and they commit a crime, they could legitimately claim, I thought y'all was in danger. They don't care. They will put that person... they'll charge that person as guilty and be done with it. This is some nonsense. Anyway, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace, family.